I am wondering how much say my parents should have in my life, but I've kind of established that I need to have boundaries, which is really good, but I'm not sure how to have a good relationship with my parents when my boundaries impede their boundaries.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Do you still live at home?
I lived at home, and yeah.
Okay. You're not going to like my answer.
I know, but I'm most likely going to be moving out in the next 2 months.
All right, they get a say in your life until 2 months is up.
Okay.
And I know that's not a popular or cool thing, but if you live in their house and you eat their food and you live under their roof and use their electricity and their water, they get to tell you the rules of engagement for their place.
Yes. What about if I'm dating someone?
What about it?
They don't necessarily approve of them.
I know. I mean, they can decide who comes and goes in their house, right?
Yes, I agree. 100%, I agree. But I'm not bringing that person to their house.
Mm-hmm.
How
are they showing you their disapproval?
There's lots of conversations about how they aren't a fan of him for a bunch of different reasons.
Tell me some of them.
Which I will say. Well,
or let me say it this way: have you listened to my show for a while?
Oh, I love your show.
Okay, would I be a fan of him?
I don't know, actually.
Okay.
I hope so.
That was a long pause. Okay. All right, tell me some of the things.
It was. I overthink.
Tell me some of the reasons why your parents don't want you with him. Just hearing the term 9 to 5 can be a drag, so my friends at Cozy Earth are here to help make your 5 to 9 way more comfortable. I love Cozy Earth's pants and all-day t-shirts. They're soft, breathable, and super tough. And my wife loves their pajamas, and my whole family loves Cozy Earth sheets. They're super comfortable, and they keep us cool when it's hot outside. Try them risk-free for 100 nights. You can save 40% off your entire order at cozyearth.com/Delony. Tell me some of the reasons why your parents don't want you with him.
They don't think he puts enough effort in.
Okay.
It's long distance.
Okay.
Which is really hard. But they don't like how that he wants me to go out there and visit. They want him to only come over here, which he did the first 4 or 5 visits. And he stayed for a week or 2 weeks at a time at my family's house.
That wasn't awkward at all, was it?
It wasn't for me. I think it was for him at first. And he was kind of just thrown into it, which was pretty rough for him. But
so get to the root question. There's a question behind the question behind the question. What is it?
How do I have a good relationship with my parents and have a good relationship with my boyfriend, the person that I want to marry?
Great question. You don't get to decide their response, and that's heartbreaking for all adult children. It's literally epidemic right now. I think it is a unspoken about, untalked about destroyer of families, which is adult parents who think that they get a vote in their kids' lives, which, by the way, you live at home, so they still do get a vote, but who are willing to sacrifice their relationship with their adult kid by continuing to treat their adult kid as though they're a preteen. And at the same time, there's an epidemic of adult kids who want to live independent whole lives, but either A, keep going back to mom and dad to pay their gas or pay their rent or pay their phone bill or whatever, or don't want to wrestle with the adult consequences of adult actions. Meaning, you can date whoever you want. You can marry whoever you want. You can have kids with whoever you want. You can do whatever you want, but they can opt out of that relationship too. And the hard part of being an adult is knowing, when are the people who are trying to love me actually trying to manipulate me? Or are they trying to keep me safe? Or when do their fears in my life overtake my autonomy? So here's a good proxy. Have you ever dated somebody that your parents liked?
Well, this is my first actual relationship.
At 23 years old?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm not making fun. I'm just wondering, I'm trying to cultivate a world where my son, who's a teenager, is dating or has opportunities to go out. I'm trying to make that possible for him. Was that same, because I know relationships, especially pre-romantic relationships, if you will, hanging out with people of the opposite sex, like hanging out with people that you might be attracted to in the future, hanging out with whatever. I want him, that's a skill. I want him to be good at it. And I want him to practice that while he's in my house. And if you were always told, no, you can't do that, it's not smart, it's not good, it's unsafe, yada, 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 and your first relationship's at 23 years old, and they're still trying to have a say in it, then maybe they have fears about your life that are more their fears than our reality. Maybe not. But you're asking a question that all adult children are asking these days. How can I go to a new church and have my parents still want to be around me? How can we not hit our kids when our parents hit us? I don't know. How can we not have screen time and our parents just hand our kids cell phones and iPads because they get annoyed? How can we vote this way when our parents vote that way? And families are getting divided up and diced up like vegetables in a chop house right now because people don't know how to exhale and love each other. And then through that love, through that relationship, say, hey, I care about you and I see something you may not see. So if your parents are saying it's him or us, they're putting you in a pretty tough position.
Yeah.
A guiding principle for me is to choose guilt over resentment. And so...
Could you expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, so if you just break up with this guy, if you really think you'll have a future together, and you're honest, if this is your first relationship, it feels good. It feels good to be wanted. It feels good to be flirty and send flirty romantic texts back and forth and electronic communication, and y'all don't have to live with the realities of seeing each other every day. And so y'all are getting the best versions of each other right now. And also, y'all spent multiple times together of 1 week or 2 weeks together. You see how you each navigate family stuff and travel, all that stuff. Great. If you actually think, I got a future with this person, I want to really make a go at this, and your mom and dad say it's him or it's us, if you break up with him, you're going to resent your parents because they didn't give you a shot. They forced you to choose between a lifeline, oxygen, and a potential long-term romantic partner. If you go with him and they say, fine, we're not talking to you for a year, you're going to feel really guilty. But in your estimation, if it's the next right move to pursue this relationship further, I would rather you choose guilt over resentment.
That makes sense. Okay.
I think beyond I think what you need more than anything in the world right now is getting your own 2 feet underneath you. The weight, if you will, of adult responsibilities, paying bills, having your own
That's
place,
what my boyfriend said.
having to call somebody to get your faucet fixed, or going to Home Depot and YouTube and figuring out how to do it yourself. And that would probably be really good for your parents too, because right now, in your eyes, you're still 16. Nothing's changed. Are you working full time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you go to university?
Yes.
Okay. So what are you worried about? What's keeping you up at night?
I just, I don't know. I think the value I hold over my parents' life is a lot, and I'm starting to detach from that. But I also have a bunch of younger siblings that live at home, and I also don't want to lose them in the crossfire. But that's not.
If you were to tell your parents, I'm going to get my own place, what would they say? Do they not want you to have your own place?
I don't think they don't want it. I think my parents are more on the side of stay home. It's cheaper. They don't ever want me to rent.
You live in Ontario. You're going to have to be a bajillionaire to buy a place.
I know.
So let me ask you this. Are your parents safe? Do you believe in your guts they care about you and want you to have want you to have good outcomes?
Yes.
Okay. So if you sat down with one or both of them and said, I've heard you don't want me to rent, I need to go explore being an adult, I would love to have your blessing. I'm going to do this. I would love to have your blessing, and I'd love to be able to call home and get some support and care as I transition to independence. What would they say?
I think right now they would just blame it on my relationship, and that's why I want to move out.
Doesn't matter.
No.
I don't think they're going to hate you. I don't think they're going to write you off, especially if you have an adult conversation about transitioning towards adult things. My hope is that parents and their children have this conversation at 18 when the first kid goes to college or the first kid goes to trade school, which is, hey, this is step 1 into adulthood.
I am the second oldest of 7 kids. Mm-hmm. None of us has moved out or went away for school.
Okay. So you're blazing a trail. And I'll tell you on behalf of all 23-year-olds, I'm sorry that your parents aren't interested in transitioning you to the next stage of your life. It sounds like they've created a bubble. And by the way, it's not easy for parents. My son's 15. I'm already pre-grieving him leaving. I'm already pre-sad, but it's right. It's the next right stage for him. And you're going to have to decide whether you want to be uncomfortable. I mean, here's the deal. You're going to be uncomfortable. There's no question. You're going to have to decide, do I want to be uncomfortable doing what's going to be best for my 25-year-old self and 35-year-old self and 45-year-old self? Because here's the other thing. Who cares if one of the main reasons you're moving out because you're interested in somebody else that you might want to make a life with? That's normal too. I'm concerned that your parents don't have any interest in what comes next for you other than just continue to live here forever indefinitely because it's expensive. And you just save up $2.2 million while you're living here at home, and then you can, like that just, I don't know. Something about this isn't sitting right with me, and I don't for sure know what it is. It's one of two things. Either your parents are very kind, but through their kindness, they are very oppressive and overbearing. They want to control your life. Or this guy is not a good human being. He's a pretty abusive guy, and your parents don't have the courage to sit down and say, like, hey, here's what we're seeing in him. And so they're just making this esoteric arguments about, well, he should come visit you more, which means we want to be able to keep our thumb over him too. Like, you're 23 years old. The reality is you can go do what you want to do, but those decisions come with real consequences. Math problems like rent, money, cell phone bills, gasoline. So you have to ask yourself, do I want to work a full-time job plus maybe another job on top of that so that I can afford to live in Ontario? Do I want to move? Do I want to go get an apartment on the other side of the province? Do I want to move to the States? Do I want to, I don't even know if you're allowed to do that anymore. Do I want to go make some changes in my life? You get to do that. You're 23 years old. But if you're constantly living for their approval and their approval continues to move on you, that's a red flag for me. It's your move. I think I know which one you're going to choose. I think you're going to stay. And I want to challenge you to at least go look at some apartments, at least go get some real numbers and see what it would take. Because I think the easiest thing for you would be to stay. And maybe that's the example you're going to set for all your siblings, that there's a time when an adult needs to go be an adult.